This time last year, we were talking a lot about the drought, but the hardship for our rural communities is far from over. Let's have a look at this in graphic form. This map of drought-affected parts of New South Wales last winter shows a lot of areas in drought, of course, shaded yellow, severe drought in orange, and all the light colouring is drought-affected too. And only the green spots are recovering or have escaped drought. Fast forward to this winter, and it's terrific to see those areas of drought and severe drought shrinking away to the far west, as well as the southeast and northeast corners of New South Wales. Most of the state is drought affected still, but encouragingly, those green areas of recovery are growing, spreading across the state. Up in Queensland, you can also see that most of the state remains drought declared. Essentially, the southern 2/3 of Queensland still drought affected. So we've seen some rains, we've seen some progress, but there is a long way to go. I fear we may have forgotten about this problem. Let's cross to the Mayor of Dubbo, Ben Shields, who joins us from just outside Dubbo to find out the latest. Thanks for joining us, Ben. Tell us, is there a sense across the Western Plains that the drought has broken and you're just dealing with the after effects, or is that still some way off?
Yeah, look, we're still feeling the after effects. There's no doubt about that. You can't say to individual businesses, which are farmers, that you go through 4 years of not having an income, and then all of a sudden everything will be fine again once it rains. These guys have got to replant crops. They've got to try and get their herds up again because a lot of stock were just lost during the drought. So it's going to be this economic situation is going to linger in Western New South Wales for quite some time. So it's certainly not over. The interesting thing that's happened, though, is with bushfires and now with COVID-19 that it's really got off the agenda. The effects of the drought and the ongoing economic problems have really gotten off the agenda of most media outlets. It's just not being reported because there are other things happening in the world as well. So that's a bit of a shame because, as you know, Australia, we really do in a lot of ways rely on our agricultural sector and our rural and regional sector. So it's a bit of a shame that it's no longer seen as a bigger issue anymore.
Now, I know some of the major dams servicing country areas are only 20% or less full, so you need more rain to build up that resilience going forward. But that's why I wanted to catch up with you. There's a lot of focus. Of course, we're showering billions of dollars across the economy to deal with COVID. Is there still enough going into the drought-affected areas? And certainly I would have thought a lot of those communities would be getting some of the COVID, some of the pandemic assistance as well.
Well, I said last year, during the height of the drought, the thing that would disappoint me the most is if for government to get around and say, oh, they're going to build more dams, they're going to give us more water security, but then at the end of the drought, they don't do anything about it. Well, again, as far as I'm concerned, state and federal government are still on notice. They've still got to get out there and build this water security in parts of regional Australia where it is desperately needed. So, yes, Burrendong Dam at the moment that feeds Dubbo, that's about 24%. Now, it's a very big dam. It's actually 3 times the size of Sydney Harbour. But we do need more water security in Australia, full stop. And just because they've got other big problems out there going on at the moment doesn't mean that we should be totally ignoring what Australia needs, and that is water security. And not only that, we also need some other areas of assistance when it comes to our farmers and also the economies in regional areas as well. We've been belted. We've absolutely been belted, regional New South Wales at the moment, whether it's fires or drought or even COVID, which COVID knocks us around as well. It's really starting to hurt. So, you know, I think government needs to start looking at regional Australia and working out ways that we can get the regions prosperous and vibrant again.
Well, there's been a big focus, of course, especially in Queensland and New South Wales on new dams going back 6 months, you know, before the bushfires and before the pandemic. We're talking that was a key thing for the government to get moving on building new dams before the end of this federal term. Are you confident? Is there are signs that this is going to happen?
Yeah, look, I'm a bit sceptical when it comes to government full stop, actually. Look, at the end of the day, they do like to talk that they're doing things, but I haven't really seen any significant results when it comes to building massive water storage capacity in Western New South Wales. They need to do that. Now, all the big talk at the moment is, you know, Australian sovereignty, that we need to get back to Australians making things. Well, Australians making food and being self-sufficient in food production is also just as important. And how you do that is you make sure that we've got the right water storage capacity, that our natural resources are up to scratch so we can become a major food producer. That's just as important. We need to remain focused on that. We know that a drought will come along every 10 to 20 years. We're going to get a shockingly bad drought. And this continuous seesaw where government says we'll fix it in the height of the drought but then ignores it straight afterwards, it's just not on. It's getting out of hand.
Well said, Ben. Thanks for joining us.